psychological prosperity concept for your subconscious and for your life and for manifestation, because it's all subconscious training. Today on the live, I'm Junior, and I'm here from Here For You Life Coaching. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Sarah. And Sarah, you've been doing this for a while. You've been with us for a while. You've been doing this for a while. So write in the comments the positive things that have happened and how you felt the shift. And tell everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. And tell everybody how long you've been doing it and the results that you're getting, because I think it's pretty cool, the things that you've been telling me. So, okay, so now, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the 3 levels because it's important that we go over this and we reiterate this, because a lot of people are, they're kind of caught in the middle when they just join us and they're not familiar with my teaching. Okay, so when we talk about the 3 states of awareness, we're talking about the 3 levels of mind: the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Okay, so the conscious mind is the director. It directs thoughts. Okay, so when you get a thought, chances are it's from either the superconscious or the subconscious, right? But when you deliberately think something new, so when you get something that you were thinking about last week, it pops back into your head, that's subconscious. Okay, when you think of something new, your thoughts then get directed to that subject, whatever it is. Okay, now your thoughts that get repeated, you keep thinking about it, right? A belief is a thought you keep thinking. It goes into your subconscious, and then what happens? Your subconscious starts to confirm this and starts to give you possibilities on this thought and how to achieve it. Okay, the superconscious opens doors as you approach or as you walk towards the goal. It brings the right people into play, right? Because everything is energy in the universe. Okay, so now we're going to explain it a little differently today. Okay, because if you don't command your subconscious, somebody else will, or society will. Okay, and this is why we have a big problem in society now, is because there's certain things that they teach the masses, okay, without going into detail, because the masses won't be able to understand it, right? And they feed the masses these things. For example, I ran into this lady, and she kind of gave me this book, and she bought my book, and I was very grateful for that. And then I started talking to her, and then she started telling me how Jesus was going to come through the clouds on Pegasus, the flying horse, and save everybody, right? And I thought that was interesting. I'm like, okay, this lady's been to Sunday school, right? And I started listening more and more, and I found that this lady had been severely conditioned, like really bad. Okay, but this is what they do to the masses. So what I'm saying is, if there's all kinds of mass conditioning, okay? So when you're sitting at a green light, for example, a red light, for example, sitting in traffic, right? You see people like this, they're like this, waiting for the light to change. Okay? They're not aware of their surroundings. They're transfixed on the light like this. Okay? Look around you next time, okay? So these are people that are behaving like machines because they've been conditioned into it. Okay? They've been conditioned into it. You didn't you didn't put your start date? Oh, 7 weeks. Nice. You follow the 4 pillars. Okay. Put up the results that you got, because I think you started telling me about that. You feel more positive and conscious of your thoughts. Great, fantastic. Good morning, Danielle. So anyway, right? Social conditioning. We live in a society where there's a lot of hypnosis going on. Okay, and the hypnosis is because things are structured, and we need structure as a society. However, when you get stuck in the structure, okay, when you overlook the fact that the body and spirit are separate, okay, when you start seeing things as one thing, that's when we run into problems, okay? So if you don't take control of your subconscious, guess what? Society will, okay? If you don't choose beliefs, society will. If you don't define your identity, Okay, either the past will or something out here in the physical world will. Okay, so then you identify with your job. How many people do you know like that? They identify with their everything is about their job. Everything is about their work, right? They're climbing that imaginary ladder, but everything is about that. Okay, some people, everything is about their degree. Everything is about their position. Everything is about their, they're the doctor, the lawyer, the whatever, the baker. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. But the separation between the body and the spirit is important because Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. And the reason Jesus said that is so that you don't go without. Okay? You don't go outside and look for solutions outside because all the solutions are in here. You were born with infinite intelligence. Don't confuse that with education. Education. Okay, look up the word. Look up the etymology of it. So anyone can be educated, okay? But you have a life path in here. And this life path in here will unfold according to a few things. One of them is your subconscious, what you believe to be true, okay? There's also epigenetics involved. Okay, these are things that come down through the genetic line. Okay, I saw a commercial a long time ago on television when I used to watch television in the 90s. I recently bought a television and tried to watch it, and I can't hang. But anyway, but when I used to watch television, right, I saw this commercial, and this commercial was about this guy, and he said, my grandfather drove the milk truck, my father drove the milk truck, and now I'm driving the milk truck. And I thought to myself back in the 90s, wow, this family has no ambition. They're just milk truck drivers. Okay. But I was wrong about that thought. I was wrong about that in many ways. In many ways. Okay. And one of the ways is I did not take into consideration genetics. Okay? So here's what happens with human beings, right? They learn things as they go, as they grow. Okay? When they have babies, okay, their knowledge gets downloaded into the baby. Okay? So sometimes you have these babies that yeah, thank you. You don't watch TV either. Yeah, it's a brainwashing mechanism, but yeah, thank you, user. And so what happens is, right, our skills that we're born with, right, it gets passed down. It gets passed down the line. Okay, so my parents are teachers. I come from a family of teachers. I'm a teacher. My son became a teacher. So he was a drill sergeant. Okay, he's a teacher. That's a teacher. Okay, different capacity, still teacher. I don't know about my grandson. I haven't gotten to know my grandson, so I don't know, but I suspect because the genes are pretty strong, I suspect that he will do some form of teaching in whatever capacity. Okay, but these things run in families. I knew this guy, a good friend of mine, he's currently disabled, but he was a dentist when he was working. He was a dentist, and his whole family was in dentistry and orthodontics, like all of them. So his uncles, his father, and it goes back up the tree. So these things happen. These are factors. Okay, they're just factors. But if you don't take control over your subconscious, okay, someone else will. And what I mean by that is that if you don't direct your mind towards something, okay, it will start to attack you, or you will be susceptible to your environment. Humans are very susceptible to their environment. And this is why they say, well, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll tell you who you are. And that's why they say it. Okay? Because we adapt. What do? We go to a new neighborhood, right? We go to, new neighborhood. What do? We fit in, right? And we start hanging with new people, or at least meeting new people, right? And we start using the expressions, we start talking like them, we start operating like them, we start, right? All of those things. Because we're chameleons in that respect. Because we're very susceptible. So your whole subconscious mind is very emotional in essence, because your emotional imprint on your subconscious will tell you a lot, okay? It will matter a lot. So your emotional imprint on your subconscious will affect your manifestation. In other words, how you act and feel today will bring your future. Now, this is not magic. This is your subconscious. Okay? I don't care if you're listening to Tony Robbins. I don't care if you're listening to Bob Proctor videos. I don't care who it is, Dean Graziosi, any thought leader. It's all subconscious. Manuel, you're 45, you still don't know what your dream job could be. Okay, well, you need to think about what you like. You need to think about what your dream is. And it's okay not to have a dream. A lot of people don't have dreams. A lot of people don't think like that. They don't go, "Oh, that's my dream job to do this." A lot of people do not aspire. That's not wrong. That means you're happy. Manuel, that means you're happy where you are. Okay? And if you're happy where you are, that's all that counts. Happy is the key word. Okay? Happy, my friend in Belgium, Manuel. So, anyway, Manuel sent me this. I just want to show it to you guys. I don't want to read from it or anything because, and I don't get any money for this, but he sent me the Book of Wisdom from Belgium. And I actually have a book like this too. And it shows a lot of esoteric things that people would have a hard time understanding, and that's the only reason why I don't discuss it on the lives. Okay, this goes pretty deep. Okay, I understand it, but there's a lot of things in here that people would go, what? So anyway, Manuel, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Sarah, buy the book. It's good for you. It's good for you to see that. I recommend it. But then it will start to dispel a lot of the conditioning, and if you're not really prepared for it, you might put it down because it's a little confusing at first, but yeah, it will make sense after a while. You're welcome. You're very welcome. So anyway, so your environment, right? So the television, the radio, the commercials, social media, all of these things shape your beliefs. Okay, so you start seeing some propaganda, right? Maybe you don't know it's propaganda. Pretty soon you start believing whatever it is, right? And you start forming an opinion around it. Okay, so what you believe in your subconscious, let's take a look at the subconscious tree, okay? So I do this imaginary tree. So picture a tree. The roots, okay, are your beliefs, your core beliefs, what you believe to be true. Okay, so that could be like believing in God, it could be believing in the education system, whatever it is. It doesn't matter, whatever. Okay, your beliefs. Now, the body of the tree, the trunk of the tree, is your paradigm. Your paradigm is your worldview, the way you see the world, based upon what you believe. Okay, the fruits of the tree are your actions that bring results. Okay, so the way it works is your core beliefs, the roots, okay, start to form your paradigm. Your paradigm, or your attitude, or the way you see the world, your worldview, produces your actions because you act based upon what's in your paradigm or your paradigm. Okay, and this brings you results. Now, if you don't like your results, can you just change your actions? Sure. You can just do a random action and get a random result. But if you want consistent results, let's say you want to make money, okay, or let's say you want a career. Okay, you want to be good at your career? Okay, start shaping your beliefs in your subconscious. Because when you start to do that, what happens? You get really good at it. You get really good at it. And then the subconscious repeats in repetition. That starts to form a new paradigm, or the way you see the world, the way you see things, right? Because when you learn things, you go, oh, I didn't know it was like that. Ah, okay. And then you have a new understanding. That new understanding or paradigm starts to form your actions that you produce, right, to get results. And then you start getting good results. Since following you, I have turned off the TV and read because I was so surprised how damaging it can be. Yeah, it can be damaging. The TV is like a the TV is entertainment, okay, and there are some factual things on television, but it does shape your beliefs, okay. It does bend your mind here and there and whatever, and so do movies. Movies are the same. I don't go to movies. I go to comedies if I go to movies, because I have my own way of researching things and understanding things. So I don't let the movie theater do it for me. I don't let my imagination go that way. I use my imagination for specific manifestation purposes. Okay, and now I use it to teach. So the way you explain something, which is where my imagination comes in very handy, it's the way that I explain things that get people to think, and when they start thinking, they go, "Oh yeah, I got it," because people aren't stupid. Okay, no human being is stupid. Okay, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're this energy, this spirit that lives in here. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. Okay, now whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, it just matters what you believe in your subconscious. Okay, so your conscious mind selects the topic. It goes into your subconscious in repetition. Then your subconscious starts to repeat it. Okay, so this is why when people go to college, okay, or high school, right, or elementary school, they start learning things. And then they go, "Oh, that's how it works." Okay, then when they know how it works, their whole concept changes, their whole understanding changes. Because now they've seen, "Oh, okay, it works this way." But I'm also here to tell you that certain systems are engineered or taught or created in such a way that they want a deliberate, specific picture in your head. And people that have, I want to say, been brought up in their left brain, okay, logic, left brain, ego, left brain, all those things are there. When you start doing that and you go through life like that, eventually you have to break free of it. Why? Because the journey of Moses is about the migration from the left hemisphere of the brain to the right. Okay? The crossing of the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea. Okay? It's the parting of the two hemispheres of the brain. Because Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, not the left. Now, it's nice to go over stories. It's nice to read the Bible like a story, but the Bible is a blueprint of this one. Okay? There's a lot of truth in there if you understand, if you stand under it. Okay? And you have to have an inner standing as well as an understanding. Okay? Because a lot of it is in here. The kingdom is within. A lot of what is being taught to the masses out here in the physical world is of the physical world. Because there's a separation between body and spirit. There's a separation between God-made and man-made. Everything out here comes from someone else's in here except nature. Now, if that's a little deep for you, if you haven't really looked at it like that, then start to look at it that way. Because people attach themselves to things out here, and then they get in trouble, right? They attach themselves out here to the casino. They attach themselves out here to the bar. They attach themselves out here to the workplace. Everything in moderation, right? Okay. But identifying yourself with things is very tricky. Okay, so be careful. Be careful what you identify with. And I'm not talking about genders. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking that is a thing, okay? But I'm not talking about that because that's how we've been hearing about it lately. I identify as this, as that, as whatever, as a granimal, whatever. But I'm just saying, okay? You can identify as the baker. You can identify as the plumber, as the electrician. You can identify as the pilot. But see, people that have done this, because I do executive coaching, I coach executives. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Marilla. Wow. Thank you for the rose. Thank you, sweetheart. Whoa, look at that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Sorry, we have a chat going on another platform. I have three cameras, so you see me look over here, I look over here, I look down here. So I have three cameras. We're on 7 different platforms every morning. So bear with me. I'm going to look all around. And then I look over there, and I have notes up there so that I remember, number one, where I'm at, and I keep on track. So anyway, right? So we're talking about what you identify with. Now, if you're identifying with something that someone else made, something man-made and not God-made, okay, then you are identifying with something physical. When you identify with something spiritual, you're talking about in here. You're talking about here. What are you going to apply this to? Okay. You're that spirit that lives in here. Okay. So that brings your blessings. That attracts your blessings. How does it do it? Through your subconscious. 3 states of awareness: conscious, subconscious, superconscious. The superconscious would be God in this instance, because so many people have different beliefs. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. You believe as you wish. Okay. So it's very important that you define what is in your subconscious, that you choose what is in your subconscious. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Those 4 pillars, if you apply it to any one thing, it has to happen. So is this magic? No, it's subconscious. But we have tools that are built into this one. Okay? Some people have no control over this one, and they're in therapy, and they rely on the therapist to tell them what is. Right? Some people just go to therapy to talk, to get advice or a perspective. Okay, therapy is a thing now. But if you really want to change, because therapy won't change you, it will remedy things. Okay, some people get to the change part. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Thank you very much. I do have a good team. Jay is our moderator on the site. Okay. You have to take control of your inner narrative. What story are you telling of yourself? Because the story that you're telling yourself is the story that other people will witness. So what's your story? Most people don't know. Most people have no idea what their story is until they've gone down the road and lived it, and then they look back, and then at the retirement party they put it up on a video, right? And then they go, oh yeah, that's my life. But other people, the executives that I teach, are very deliberate in their actions. They have to be. They're CEOs. Okay, they're supervisors. Okay, they're people that are in charge of other people. So their actions have to be deliberate. And they have to focus on deliberate action. And what I do with my job is I migrate them from the left brain to the right brain, because Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father. Okay, the right hemisphere of your brain is creativity, right? Imagination, intuition. That's all on the right side. God lives on the right side. The superconscious functions off of the right side of your brain, not the left. So your left brain, or your logic, is the thing that rationalizes you out of your dreams. Okay? I just live my dreams. That's all I do. Okay? So, you get that idea. Oh, maybe I'll start a business, right? And then the left brain over here starts going, well, you remember what happened last time you had an idea? Remember how that went? See? Remember when Uncle at the Christmas party told you you were crazy, your ideas were no good? Right? What happens? Slowly you change your mind and you go, nah, that's okay. I think I was being silly. Okay, you weren't being silly. You had intuitive thought. You had an idea. Okay. And a lot of people say that, oh, thank you, Marilla. Marilla, thank you, Marilla. A lot of people say that when you get these ideas, right? Silly ideas, grandiose ideas, whatever, that's all I get. That's all I act on is my crazy ideas. I'm here to say, trust your crazy ideas. Okay, Kurt, would if my story, whoops, wait, I'm sorry. Would if my story is, oh, what? I think what, right? What if my story is full of shame, lies, and fear? How do I change my story and mindset? Appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Kurt. Yeah, so it's very simple, Kurt. You need to start making an effort into changing your story. Okay? So if your stories are full of lies, then make them truths. Change them. It's the opposite. Start writing affirmations. I have some sample affirmations that I wanted to read today. If we get through this part a little bit quicker, I'm going to try. Okay, so hang in there with me. I'm going to start giving you some very solid affirmations that you can use because you need to be well rounded in your affirmations. Okay, just writing affirmations for money, that could mean anything. If you win the lottery tomorrow, that could be very dangerous. Okay, if you're not prepared, that could be dangerous. A lot of people, and you read these stories all the time, you see them on TV, right? So they win the lottery, 2 years later, they've lost everything, plus they're in debt and they're worse off than before they won the money. Okay? So this is the equivalent of someone who drives a Toyota and all of a sudden somebody just gives them a Ferrari. Okay? It doesn't react the same, it doesn't work the same. It's very difficult to learn to drive the Ferrari if you've only driven a Toyota. Thank you, Marilla. Thank you so much. Okay. So you need to counterbalance. Okay? So in other words, if something is going wrong in your life, let's say there's no money, okay? It's probably a lot deeper than that. Because when I meet with my executives, okay, it goes a lot deeper than that. But we have to talk for a while so I can figure it out, so I can see, oh, okay, that's your problem, that kind of thing. And it's not very difficult to see. Okay, I've been doing this for 37 years. I have a lot of experience with a lot of people. This one lady had a fear of getting on an airplane in Portland, Oregon to come back to Hawaii. After several conversations and several sessions, I figured it out. She was coming back to a small place on a neighbor island that had one road back and forth. That's all they had. And every time there was an accident on the road, she had anxiety because she couldn't pick her children up. She didn't have a fear of flying. She didn't have panic attacks because she was going to get on a plane. She had panic attacks because she was going to go back to this small little place. And she was from Oregon, huge, wide open spaces. But she was going back to this small little space. And even the way that they thought in this small little place was backward thinking to her. It was backward thinking. Okay. So what are we really talking about? We're talking about environment. Okay. Adapting to an environment. As a result, she didn't go back. She got a divorce and she's back where she belongs. In her mind. Okay. In her mind. Because if you're from wide open spaces and you're torturing yourself by living on a small little island, then you need to change your environment. Okay? It's much easier than trying to expect that the small environment will change you. Okay? Because you're going against the grain. The path of least resistance is what you should be looking for. Okay, because when you hit the wall over and over again, it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, if you hit the wall over and over again, there is a reason why you're not being allowed to go there. And I'm talking about the spiritual reason. I'm talking about God. Okay, for some of you, universe, for some of you, source, for some of you, Jesus Christ, for some of you, Allah, whatever. However you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but when you have that resistance, right, you need to pivot. You need to go over here, okay? Or pivot and go over here, okay? Because this means this isn't for you. This is not for you. You keep hitting your head against the wall, keep going, push, push, push. Nothing's working, nothing's giving, nothing's giving. Okay, stop. Change direction. It flows over here. Okay, go over there. Okay. What is, I'm sorry, I can't see the question. About the topic? Environment, culture, yeah. Culture as well. Okay, and this is what we see when we see foreigners come to America. They don't adapt very well at first. Yeah, they don't adapt too well. It's just culture is a major factor. So the 3 states of mind, the 3 states of awareness, 3 levels of mind. Okay, so your conscious mind chooses thoughts. Okay, when you repeat the thoughts, or let's say affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization on one thought, it goes into the subconscious. When it goes into your subconscious, the subconscious begins to repeat it after a while. Okay, 66 days is what it takes to change a habit. 66 days. So writing affirmations every day like this is ideal. Okay, this is the one I'm working on now. And this is one, I have about 12 of these in storage. Been doing this since 2007, okay? And this looks crazy to the average person, okay? But this is not journaling. These are affirmations. This is telling your subconscious what to do, okay? Where to go, how to go, and what you expect. Now, the subconscious just takes orders. It's an order taker. Kind of like you're in the military and you're the superior, you're the boss, you tell it what to do and it will do it. But you need to be clear, okay? In order to be clear, you need to take all the anxiety out of here. You need to rid yourself of all the negative emotions. The vocalization does that. We do that in our clients with vocalization, with the vocal exercises. It starts to clear. What happens when clarity comes? Oh, everything. Everything. Then it's easier to focus on one thing and to put it in the subconscious. Once it's in the subconscious, you don't need to worry about it. Maintenance is all that's necessary. So you can change your affirmation at that point. So first, you should start with 66 days of an affirmation. Okay? The subconscious is also the feeling, believing mind. Because when you imprint the subconscious with feeling, it gets it right away. Okay? It gets it right away. There's also another technique that I'll probably talk about tomorrow where we engage both hemispheres of the brain at the same time. And I'll show you how to do it tomorrow. Okay, Jay, remind me about that. You feel like you overcomplicate things and you have the wisdom to simplify life to flourish. Yeah, so I had to learn like everybody else. But that was back in 2007 when I started to put things together. I had a mentor when I was 13, and he was very, very spiritual, which really helped. And he was very much into the Bible, took me to Bible studies, all of this. But we learned the real meanings, the esoteric meanings in the Bible, and not just, the story, okay? It's the greatest story ever told, but within that story, it tells you things, okay? It tells you things. The reason why Jesus told his apostles to cast your net to the right side is because the right is where abundance lives, the right hemisphere of the brain, not the left. The left is logic. The left logically would tell you, oh, there's not enough for everyone. Things are running out. There's only a little bit here. You have to work hard to get this. You have to work hard to get that. That's not true at all. At all. Commerce wants you to think that, right? Commerce wants you to think everything is limited, right? While supplies last. Okay, go buy it now, right? So don't be influenced by scarcity. Because if you're influenced by scarcity, you end up in scarcity. Because you start thinking scarcity. What you think, you become. Thoughts become things. When you start practicing scarcity thinking, right, which we all have been inducted into commerce, okay? While supplies last, get it now, we only have 2 left, scarcity, right? Then you start living like that. You start becoming scarcity. Everything you do is scarcity. Then you start camping out in front of the store for Black Friday, scarcity. You're living in scarcity. Why are you camping out? Well, because the sale, there's only so many. We gotta get it while it's there. Gotta get it on sale, right? But it spills over into other things. You know, gotta stalk that girl because there's only one like her. Whatever. I'm exaggerating. Okay? But these things start happening and you start living in scarcity. You start thinking that there's only a little. The earth makes more gold. The earth makes more platinum. The earth makes more minerals. The earth makes more trees, more lumber, more wood. Okay? The earth is a renewable system. It's a renewable system. But if they can get you to think that this system is going downhill, if this system is going to collapse, if this system is going to whatever, now you get the fear-based thoughts. Okay, pretty soon you start thinking fear. Now we already told you the other day, or was it yesterday? I don't know, I do so many lives. We started telling you about negativity bias and the human being. That's our default as humans, negativity bias. We look at something, we look for the negative aspects. We don't look for the positive aspects. But we do this for survival. This was part of evolution. This is how we evolve. We look for the threats. Where's the threat? We look, oh, no threat? Okay, now we can relax. You see? So if you feel that you're being negative, you probably are. How do you become positive? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. It's easy. It's not hard. It's repetition. It's like going to the gym and doing a workout, doing a circuit. It's the same thing. But these 4 pillars are the circuit. Affirmations, meditation, vocal. You'll get my method. You'll get all the information. You don't have to see me as a client. You can get it for free. I'm here for free. I'm not here to sell you anything. There's no presentation at the end. There's no, buy my course or whatever. No, there's none of that. Okay? None of that. The reason why there's so much mystique or magic or whatever around manifestation is because people want to sell you things. This is your subconscious. This is easy to do. Oh, okay. Somebody didn't understand Black Friday. Okay, yeah, it's not a racial thing. Anyway. Okay, Black Friday, right? because businesses want to be in the black. They don't want to be in the red. That's Black Friday. Now, the superconscious. What's the superconscious? It's the God within. God is in here. God is not up there, out there. Okay. I told you at the beginning of the live, I met this lady who was a part of a good church, as far as I'm concerned. It's a good church. But she said, no, Jesus is coming out of the clouds. He's going to save us. Jesus already saved us if you pay attention to his teaching, if you understand the esoteric knowledge behind his teaching. He already saved you because you know that salvation is in here. You know that God is in here. You know that Jesus Christ is in here. The kingdom is within. That's the title of my next book. It'll be out probably second quarter. My first book talks about vocalization. That's what this is about. The universal law of attraction and singing. So the universal law of attraction is your subconscious. Singing is the vocalization aspect of it. And this is how people change their lives through their voice. Okay, so we give them exercises where they push volume out in strength, and it fires oxytocin and endorphins through the neurotransmitters in the brain. Okay. I saw 6 and 7-year-old girls puffing their chest out like they wanted to fight. They got so confident. And I was wondering, what's doing this? Because I had been teaching a long time. And finally, in 2007, I've been teaching since 1989. And in 2007, I'm like, what's doing this? I had made a mistake. I was having them push out volume as strong as they could. Voice teachers don't do that. But I thought I would do that because I wanted my kids to get ahead, and then they started getting overly confident. I wanted to know what it was, and then I found the research. The research is on the website. So all the research links, all the white papers. So white papers are doctors' papers, scientists' papers, okay, medical research. It's all on the website, hereforyoulifecoaching.com. I've worked with people with autism. They turn into different people, okay? I work with people with all kinds of what you would call disabilities, okay? But the word ability, miracles happen because they're human beings. God lives in here, okay? God lives in them too. So the superconscious, infinite intelligence, okay? Limitless creative power. And I want to talk about the power part, okay? Not just limitless creation, it's power when you learn how to use it. Divine potential. I thought we were here to suffer service and sacrifices. You were here to enjoy your time. You were here to enjoy this physical existence. Yeah, you're not here to suffer. That's religion talking to you. That's religion having you donate your money and your time and all of that. Don't be suckered into that. Yeah, I worked with a lot of special needs individuals. My best friend was blind, and we did it together for many, many years. I have ADHD, so I'm one of them. I have special needs. I need to slow down once in a while, but yeah. And coffee helps my concentration to a certain point, and then things get blurred. But anyway, all right, so God is within you. God lives in you, but you have eyes that look away from the kingdom in here. So how do you get close to God? Close your eyes. Okay, 10 minutes a day. Just sit still. So when you use these, right? When you use these and you're scrolling to, right? You're doing all of this. This is stimulus to the brain. This keeps giving you the dopamine hits. This keeps elevating your cortisol, your fight or flight hormone. Okay. It's very difficult for people to sit still now. Okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that all you need to do is get it into your subconscious. Okay. I do 45 minutes like that. And I relax very quickly. But I had to learn that. You often live vicariously through others. You avoid your own feelings. Any affirmations for this? Yeah, I'm trying to get through this section, so let me see if I can jump to affirmations. So you guys probably understand, right? You get it. Conscious, subconscious, superconscious. So let's go to some affirmations. Tomorrow we'll pick up again. I'll do a recap. So, balanced affirmations. Now, so affirmations, right? If you're just writing for money, I am so happy and grateful now that I have $100. Thank you. Okay, I started with 20, and then I went to 50, then I went to 100, then I went to 500, then I went to 1,000, then I went to 5,000. And I started writing affirmations for 5,000. And mostly it took advice on detachment. Okay, do you want to learn how to detach, or are you talking about you're feeling detached? Explain. So what happens is, if you're just writing for money, money is all you're gonna get. Okay, so consider this: when you align prosperity, health, okay, you align things. So here's some, Kurt. Here you go. I prosper in my work, I thrive in my health, and money flows to me with ease. And then put thank you at the end, okay? My career grows, my income increases, and my body becomes stronger every day. Thank you. Always express gratitude at the end, okay? I am successful in my occupation, vibrant in my health, and abundantly supplied with money. Stuff like that, because then you're not just writing about money, okay? If you think money is the only way you can get something, you're suffering from limited thinking. Money is such a small part of wealth. It really is. Knowledge is a huge part of wealth. My work supports my wealth supports my health, and my health supports my success. That's a good affirmation. Okay. Would you mind repeating the first two? You're writing it down? Okay. I prosper in my work. I thrive in my health. And money flows to me with ease. There you go, Kurt. Second one. My career grows. My income increases. And my body becomes stronger every day. Okay, now an affirmation like that will probably get you to want to work out or go running or do something active, okay? Because that's the effect that it has on the subconscious. There you go, Kurt. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay. Thank you, Marilla. So now, financial abundance, physical vitality, and professional purpose. Okay, let's look at these. I have a check-in with one of my clients. I have to just, I have to just do this. I just have to acknowledge the check-in. I have clients after this, so I'm actually working today. So financial abundance, physical vitality, and professional purpose. Okay, so I am paid well for the work I love. Okay, so you're expressing that you love the work. Okay, and you should be doing work you love. Don't just do work for money. That doesn't work in the long run. Okay, because you're going to be bothered in here. Okay, and you're going to see yourself as a sellout one day in here because you didn't do what you loved. Okay, you just do whatever you do for money. Money is, what's money worth? Probably 1 cent plus the ink it's printed on you used to print it? Okay, it's just worth a couple of cents for $100 bill. It's totally perspective. It's perception. So I am paid well for the work I love while maintaining radiant health and a thriving life. There you go. Balance. Okay, it's all about balance. Okay, my body is energized, my mind is focused, and my career rewards me abundantly. Write that for 66 days and watch your whole life change. Because your subconscious, okay, will act upon these things. You're the highest form of intelligence on the planet. If you want to see a miracle, go into the bathroom, turn the light on, look in the mirror, there's your miracle. Okay, but you've been living with that person so long, you're missing the point. You've been distracted into the physical, right? Physical, spiritual. You've been distracted into the physical for so long. The new car, the hot girl, the movie theater, right? The beach, the trip, the jet, the beach, the whatever. Okay, you've been distracted into that for so long. You've forgotten about this one. You've forgotten about this one. Okay? Don't forget about this one. Don't betray this one. Okay? When you betray this one, guess who you're betraying? You're betraying the Creator. You're the creation. Duh. Okay? I say that in fun. Okay? I say that with love. When you betray yourself, okay? This is why you shouldn't lie to yourself. This is why you shouldn't kid yourself. This is why. Because when you do this, you're doing a disservice to yourself, yes. But you're doing a disservice to God. Okay? When you use God's name in vain, let's do this real fast. God's name in vain, right? You hear Jewish people on TV, right? And they say the GD word, right? I don't want to say it because I don't use that kind of language in my lives. But they say that, right? That's not using God's name in vain. God's name is I am. In the book of Isaiah in the Holy Bible. God tells Moses, go tell the people of Israel, I am sent you. So, when you say things like, I'm not that smart, I'm lazy, I'm stupid, I'm not that good at this, I'm not that good at that. Now you're using God's name in vain. Because you're referring to this one. You're putting this one down. I have a client that I'm working with right now, trying to get her over putting herself down as a habit. It's a habit. It's in her subconscious. She told me the other day she was at the doctor's office and she caught herself. I said, good, that's the first step. She said she still did it, but she caught herself. I'm like, yeah, good. The American sense of humor is sarcasm. Don't be sarcastic about this one. Don't make this one the butt of the joke. That's insulting your Creator. Because you were made in the image of the Creator. So, if you don't respect this one, you cannot respect anyone. Because it starts here first, then here. Okay? The kingdom is within, not without. How do you find your desires after living like that? After living like what? How do you find your desires after living like what? Tell me, Dakota. Dakota, So Dakota. Sorry, I don't know how to read that. Okay? So when you say I am, be careful of what you say after it. Make it positive, right? I am generous. I am kind. I am loyal. I am grateful. I am, and then positive. Okay, I have my clients write down 100 positive things, and they usually cannot come up with 100 when I do their intake. Okay, but when I'm halfway through with them, after a few months, they fill it all. They fill it all. You know why? Low self-esteem. Because when you joke about this one, you make fun of this one, you put this one down. How do you think this one feels? As a result, how do you think this one acts? Okay, so don't put this one down. Okay, you shouldn't put others down either, but if you do, just know that it's going to affect you too, but it will affect you through your subconscious. When they say what goes around comes around, there's not a mystical karmic energy. There's none of that. It's your subconscious. Your subconscious is your book of life. So when you cuss someone out, right, your subconscious doesn't know if you're talking to them or if you're talking to you, and then you kind of wonder why you don't have that outgoingness, why you don't feel good about this one, why you don't feel good, why you feel a little bit depressed, why you feel a little down. You see? Okay? So don't put this one down, okay? When you say I am, make sure it's or I'm, okay? I am. Make sure it's followed by something good, okay? Make yourself feel good. Your self-esteem will rise, okay? The opinion of yourself will rise, and then you'll be better to others. Because when you feel good, you project good. When you feel good, you speak good. When you feel good, you give love, okay? And love is important, okay? For others, stuffing them down, okay, stuffing them down, wait, let me go back to the original. Jay, can you pin her original comment? Can you pin the original comment? Thank you. Okay, how do you find your desires after? Okay, so you apologize to yourself. Okay, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's ho'oponopono. Jay, write out the word for her so she can search it. Jay will write the word for you and you can search it, and it's just, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. You're saying it to yourself and your creator at the same time, and it works. It clears. It erases the dry erase board, and then you can continue and you have a clear conscience because you apologized. Okay? Don't do the same thing over and over, because you're just going to go in a circle in your subconscious. That's all. Okay? God is real, and God is the superconscious, and God works off of what is in your subconscious. So if your subconscious is full of negative beliefs, God will work off of that. He will amplify that. Okay? God does not judge. God has no judgment at all. You do, by your actions. Okay? So we are going to leave you guys. Temple of Blood and yes, it's been so long since I thought of that term. I remember when I found it. Thank you. What term? I'm sorry. What term? Anyway, so we're going to let go of our international feed right now, but we will see you guys tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. There's no sales pitch. Sorry, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to give you. So I hope you guys are taking notes. Bring your notepads tomorrow morning.